Hey YouTube, Christina K here from WriteYourBestBook.com. In today's episode, we're going to talk about writing a compelling back cover blurb / Amazon description that can be one and the same. So I've always believed there are 3 crucial elements to writing a book that sells more than just a handful of copies to friends and family. 1, a well-written book that has been professionally edited. 2, a beautiful book cover created by a professional designer. And 3, a well-written and compelling back cover blurb. Unlike the first 2, I truly believe that a good author can definitely write their own back cover blurb. And the bonus is you can repurpose your back cover blurb and add a call to action and use it on Amazon as your book's description. For the sake of brevity and for repeating myself over and over again, I'm simply going to refer to this copy as your blurb throughout the rest of this episode. All right, so why is a great blurb so important? Think of it this way. If your book's cover is professional and eye-catching and your title is compelling, if someone is shopping in a bookstore, what's the very next thing they're going to do? Yep, you're right. They'll flip it over and read the back cover. Same thing goes for Amazon customers. Your cover and your title will catch their eye, but then they'll click on more info and read your entire blurb, hopefully. That is your one and final chance to turn them from potential customers to purchasers. It's the most important piece of sales copy you will ever write when selling your books. If, on the other hand, your blurb is simply a regurgitated summary of events, they're most likely not going to find that very interesting, or at least interesting enough to want to immediately purchase your book. So it's highly essential that you take the time to write an amazing blurb. Now, before I move on, I just want to tell you, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button underneath this video. And if you want more information on how to work with me as an author coach, or any of me or my team of editors for book editing, or any of the other services that we provide, please visit our website, WriteYourBestBook.com, and use the contact us page to reach out anytime at all. Follow us on social media at WriteYourBestBook. Okay, so how do I write a compelling blurb? The very first step to writing a great, compelling blurb that will convert browsers to purchasers is to come up with a great hook. What's a hook? It's a short, concise, and intriguing sentence, sometimes 2 if they're short, that grabs the reader's attention and hooks them, forcing them to keep reading your blurb. Don't give readers any excuse to skip your blurb. Instead, hook them right out of the gate with 1, maybe 2 great, compelling, and hooky sentences. When contemplating your book, something to keep in mind. Think like a screenwriter, not so much an author. Let's say you were pitching your book as a movie. What 1 great line, elevator pitch, would you use to pitch with to grab viewers' attention in your trailer? Okay, here's an example of a great book hook. Okay, I'll tell you the hook and then I'll tell you who wrote it. All right, 6 days ago, astronaut Mark Watney became the first person to walk on Mars. Now, he's sure he'll be the first person to die there. Okay, you probably know this, but that was from The Martian by Andy Weir. Andy's book was self-published, and then it became a sensation, and then it became a huge blockbuster movie with Matt Damon, I think. Some big actor. Great movie, wonderful book, and it all started with a self-publishing book. So he is a perfect example of writing a great hook. All right, now that you've started your blurb with a compelling hook and you've grabbed the reader's attention, the next thing you need to do is write your summary section. This is the middle part of your blurb. It should be no longer than 200 words. Write it in third person, present tense, and keep the following key points in mind. 1, be sure you introduce the protagonist and the world that they live in. 2, evoke emotions in your reader. If your protag feels fear, so should the reader. 3, introduce the conflict of your novel. For example, what challenge will the protagonist face? 4, tell enough about the plot so the reader is intrigued. In other words, don't be vague. 5, near the very end, show us the stakes. If you don't know what stakes are, it's basically what is at stake if the protagonist fails or loses. And I forgot what number we're on, but don't give away the ending. But you can hint at what could happen. All right, after you've typed up a draft of your blurb that you're happy with, consider having a few author friends that you trust, or readers, go through it and provide some feedback. If you're working with an editor, they can also edit it for you. Now, at Write Your Best Book, I always throw in the client's blurb editing for free, just as a bonus to their paid services. Either way, be sure to get a fresh pair of eyes on your blurb before you finalize it. Okay, now another question for you may be thinking is, how do I format my blurb? Right? The way that you format your blurb can actually be as impactful, if not more so, than the words you use to describe your book. Here are some quick tips on how you can make sure that your blurb stands out from the herd of all the other book descriptions that readers will be perusing on Amazon or bookshelves. Okay, one is, as I mentioned earlier, keep the entire blurb to no more than 150 to 200 words max. Now, this is not a limit that I have set or even Amazon. They did a study a while back and found that almost all of the best-selling book descriptions were under 200 words. So really, it's the readers who dictate that word limit. All right, the hook should be a maximum. The hook itself should be a maximum of 25 to 30 words. This is what will be seen on retailer pages before customers are prompted to read more. So make sure it can stand alone and is grabbing. This headline should sell your book in just a few words. All right, consider using bolded lines, italicized lines, bullet points, or both, or all three. But how can you do that? Now, listen, I will be the first to admit I'm not techie by any stretch of the imagination, but I found this great tool online. I love online tools for authors. And the one that I found to help you with formatting your blurb, and so that you can use bold, italics, etc., and it doesn't require any coding, is on Kindlepreneur's website. Go to their website and look for their blurb builder on the tools page. There will be a link to this tool in the description of this video. All right. Next is, if you can use any kind of credentials like USA Today bestselling author, use them at the top of your blurb before or right after your hook. Now, since my only claim to fame is being an award-winning author, I always include from award-winning suspense novelist at the beginning in all bold and italics. I personally believe that credentials like this give you instant credibility and readers are more likely to keep reading. If you have any testimonials by any best-selling authors or well-known authors, use those in your blurb. Where you put it is up to you, but I would recommend putting it after the body of your blurb, but before your CTA, call to action. For example, best-selling novelist Casey Dunn read my book, 1,000 Tiny Cuts, so I included a short 2-line testimonial from her near the top of my blurb. Okay, this one is for Amazon descriptions only, doesn't apply to back cover. Consider using a soft CTA. Okay, CTA stands for call to action. Some authors like to use a very strong CTA, like buy this book now. I'm personally not a huge fan of this tactic, as it comes off to me as a little pushy. But if you want to include a CTA, it goes at the very bottom of your blurb underneath the summary, and try to use a soft pitch. Something like, fans of Lisa Gardner's D.D. Warren series will love this book. Or if you love Cassandra Clare's books, then this should be on your shopping list. Something like that. And that, my friends, is how you write a compelling and effective blurb that you can use on the back of your book, on the back cover of your book, and or your Amazon description. One quick note, when using it as your back cover blurb, be sure you finish your blurb before you send it off to your cover designer, because they'll need it to complete your book cover design. But do not spend too much time stressing over the blurb. I know it can be daunting and it can be intimidating, but it shouldn't be. Type up a good draft, revise it a couple of times, get some feedback, revise it again, and then you're good to go. Remember, your Amazon description can always be tweaked through your KDP account. So if you find one form of your blurb isn't doing well, or you think that's the reason that you're not selling many copies, you can always try a different one. That's harder with the back cover blurb, but on your Amazon description, you can certainly change it. And I know several authors who have done so. So again, if you need any other advice or you ever want to reach out, please feel free to email me at info@writeyourbestbook.com. Visit our website, writeyourbestbook.com, and use the contact us form. Use that page to check out our success stories, our services and rates. Any other information you need is all on that website. And I hope to talk to you soon. In the meantime, go write your best book.